I've had plenty of people ask, how do I hard boil the quail eggs? So I figured I'd do a little video. The first thing I do every day when I collect, if I'm going to do a big batch, and see this one right here is standing up. This is just lukewarm water right out of the tap. And if the eggs are standing up, you want to see them laying down on their side. This is just a simple float test. See, that one's kind of leaning up a little bit, but these are all good. I know they're good because these are all within the last 2 weeks, so all these eggs are ready to go. If you felt like it, you could scrub off any manure or anything that you see at this time, but for boiling, it won't make any difference. So get all of your eggs float tested, and then get a pot of water on big enough that it's going to be able to cover all of your eggs, and get her to a rolling boil. So once you got your water rolling as a boil, you're going to go ahead and get a helper, and they're going to stir the water. And you keep the water moving the entire time as you drop your eggs in. This will allow the whites to spin to the outside of the egg, and it will allow the yolk to stay centered, so that when you go to peel them, you won't have thin spots, which will make the whites break apart. So whether you're doing pickled eggs, or if you're going to do deviled eggs, then you'll have a nice solid white all the way around. Yes, the pot is going to get very crowded here. So you're just dropping them in for about, an inch or so above the water line. And once you have all of your eggs in, then you're going to start your timer. I go for 5 minutes for a hard boil. You can do 4 and get away with it with less eggs, but because I do so many eggs at a time, I go for a full 5 minutes to guarantee all of them get the correct amount of time. But you've got to maintain stirring the water so that the eggs are circling the entire time. Alright, I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and I will take over the stirring. We'll see you guys in 5. And like I said, you're going to be stirring the entire time, keeping those eggs moving. Now, a lot of people prefer, after they come out of the boil, to put them straight into an ice water bath. I hate making that much ice for a batch of eggs. So what I'll do is I'll take these over to the sink and drain the water, and then put the pot in the sink and fill it with cold tap water and flush the eggs until they're down to room temperature. We'll see that here in just a minute. Drain off as much of that hot water as you can. Yeah, I spilled something, it happens. And then straight in with cold water. And we're just flushing them, getting them cooled down. I roll them around a little bit because the heat of the eggs will warm up the water at the bottom of the pan. So I just roll them around a little bit, keep the water moving. And we'll just do this until they're cool to the touch. And once they're cooled down, we're just going to dump out the excess water. If a little bit of water remains in the pan, totally fine. And this is the biggest secret to making your quail eggs peel. Throw the lid on and give them a shake. They're going to make a couple different sounds. You're going to hear them start cracking, and then the sound is going to get really soft. It won't be as pingy on the metal. You can hear the ping. And now the sound is getting softer, and you can see pieces of the shell is sticking to the lid. That's the indication that you've got them adequately cracked, and they'll be easy to peel. About like so. Okay, so I got my clean bowl ready for my cleaned eggs. I put a little bit of cold water back into the pot, and now I can start to peel. When you do that shake and it breaks up the shell, don't be surprised if once in a while you'll blow up an egg. Not a huge deal, but you will often see some of the eggs are already starting to peel themselves. And I always find it easier to start at the air pocket, which is the big end of the egg, and I pinch it with my thumbnail and crack it. And once that starts, you can basically just take it in a circle it'll come off like a zipper. And then I take the water that's in here, give it a little rinse. Nice peeled egg. If you shake a little too vigorously, sometimes you'll go to peel your eggs and you'll find that they've split a little bit. It's not really a big issue. Little rinse. And then just work your way through. This would be a good time to have a drink, because you're going to be here a minute. Is it as fast as the quail egg peeling machines? No. But this has so far been the easiest way that I have found. Like I said, always just starting on the big side that has the air sac. Sometimes they won't want to peel in one direction, and I usually peel to the left. If you try on the same egg that doesn't want to peel that way, try peeling the opposite direction. Sometimes they'll go. Sometimes they just are a little bit of a turd. Well, that's fine. It's a fiddly little tiny egg, so you can expect that it's going to be a little difficult sometimes. Not difficult. Does take a little bit of technique. But I've also been doing this for a little while, so I'd say I have the technique down pretty good. And if you're going to do, like I do, batches of 100 eggs or so at a time, then you figure out the technique pretty quickly. And yeah, you'll still sometimes run into eggs that don't want to peel. And that's fine. Those are the ones you snack on while you're peeling the rest. And eventually, you're going to end up some beautiful little hard-boiled quail eggs. Whether you want to pickle them, deviled eggs, egg salad, you name it, they're ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys.